Hi, it's Joy and today I'm going to be watching Arcane, Season 1, Episode 8, Oil and Water. I am so sorry this video is up so late. It's been a month since I've watched any Arcane and I have been desperate to see how this show ends, but I was ill, so I wasn't able to do it. I am feeling mostly myself today, so fingers crossed this goes well, but I'm just very excited to watch it. A reminder that if you're watching this on Patreon, you can find the unedited version on my... If you're watching this on YouTube, you can find the unedited version on my Patreon, and also the edited version of the finale will already be up as well. So yes, let's go. Is this him remembering?
You'd give me a throne.
I will give you the world.
What happened?
If you prove you can take it.
Oh, she did not prove she could take it.
We can show the people we are merciful.
Jesus. Is this why she was disowned? You're not merciful though. Look, getting away from that did you good. I mean, you're still a little bit cool with hurting other people for me, but you're not that cool with hurting other people, so therefore I like you. You have morals. Oh. You may care about her, but you have been the worst parental figure ever. Is she trying to go back for powder? Fuck.
It's gone. What?
Powder.
All for nothing.
You alright?
Has he ever seen bloodshed on this scale? She hoped here she's away from that kind of violence. Are they home for... Yeah, for one of them at least.
Who lives here?
Caitlin. In private.
Yeah, you come from two different worlds, but that doesn't mean you're incompatible.
Council. You know what else reflects on the council? It's citizens living on the streets, being poisoned, having to choose between a kingpin who wants to exploit them and a government that doesn't give a shit.
Caitlin.
Oh, her language is the problem here.
I'm sure.
Can address the council yourselves. I'd suggest you prepare accordingly.
With Jace and her mother, ugh, you'd think they'd have some headway, but he'll be like, no, the Undercity hurt us, even though the topside city is causing far more damage to the Undercity through its lack of care.
Her injuries are severe.
Oh.
You think I can't see that?
I want her to survive, but what is this going to do to her?
With the process, sometimes death is a mercy.
Fuck.
Take it. And before
She's already been through so much.
She won't die, Doctor.
She deserves a life to break free from everything he taught her and all the hell she's been through, and to atone for her mistakes.
wasn't here for him. Thought I might have been you here. You're a scary lady.
Trying to convince her to do a coup.
Get to your point. You aren't the only one dissatisfied with his performance. There's bigger fish.
Would they be better or worse? Ooh, is that a sign she's considering it? I hate Silco. So, but then I don't exactly like his underlings either. Her mother? Fuck. Now you come to see your daughter after all that time you disowned her?
What are you doing here, Mother?
Can I not visit?
No!
I've heard stories of... I sent you here to oversee our family's interests and grow yourself.
Essentially banished her.
You said, don't try to ingratiate yourself with me.
Mel,
Stay strong.
your brother's gone.
Whoa.
What happened?
Because you sending her here
The wrong man.
took her away from the rest of her family as well.
War isn't our first and every recourse. I sponsored Hextech to protect the city, not burn it to the ground.
I do like her. I have my worries. I have my worries that she would try to use Hextech in a way to get this very thing, to have her mother coming to her, to have her mother kind of trying to like, say like, oh, I welcome you back into my life, daughter, and you've made me proud. But I like that she is in the face of it. She's not like, that she's staying strong to her morals and that she did want to protect the city, because I hope that was what she wanted to do. And I might not always agree with how she thinks protecting the city and which parts of the city she wants to protect, but I'm glad that she's not, you know, I feel like with every character in any show, when you meet them, they could go their moral meter where they could go from either side, and I'm glad that she's not as far gone as she could have been.
Weapons. I'm here to help guide you to the right decisions.
Yeah, but you might...
Need your guidance.
Exactly, she's a grown woman. Just, this is your city, your way of doing things. Do not give in to your mother's weak-minded war mentality, because it's taken the simple way out.
You did all this yourself? Without even going down there?
Yeah.
Powder could get obsessed. We played a game where we pretended to be bigger and...
This is huge, Joy. Vi opening up, being vulnerable.
Monster with venom for ooze. I pretended to chase my own monsters away. I'd say...
You've always been a protector. You've always been looking out for her, but...
And a real monster showed up.
Mm-hmm.
And I just ran away.
Sweetheart.
I left her.
It was not that simple, and you know it. You would have gone back for her if you weren't arrested. And she would have gone back for her tonight if there hadn't been a literal army of guards. For her running on that bridge would have literally been like, oh, are you a person responsible for the attack? We'll arrest you. Just, I love her for the fact that she feels bad, but also just... We need to focus on the future and making it right, and just wish they had a chance to be sisters again. Oh, and Powder does not deserve this. Oh Lord. And what's this going to do to her mental state that was already precarious?
I'm afraid it will only get worse.
This poor girl, this is the last thing she needs. I mean, I want her to live. Obviously, she deserves to live. But this torment is the last thing she deserves or needs. She was already somebody that needed a lot of healing mentally from the scars and the trauma she's been through and the action she's taken. And this just breaks my heart times 1,000. Why are you here? I mean... He has presided on the council for hundreds of years, allowing the Undercity to get worse and worse and worse. He should feel bad about it. Like, again, there is no easy solution to things like this, but it is true that the top side just abandoned the people down here. And yes, the people in the Undercity didn't want to be ruled over by all the rules and regulations, but that doesn't mean they should have to live in misery. There is a compromise and a balance that could have been found, but the easy solution is to simply say, oh, leave them to themselves. Did he just go to look, to see? Is he leaving? Was that what he's here to get a boat?
These blades seem improperly pitched.
You're wrong.
He's alive?
Are you Counselor Heimerdinger?
He was, yes.
I wanted to offer my assistance to the citizens of the Undercity, but it seems I'm unwelcome.
Yeah. Did Heimerdinger really think he was just gonna casually cross the bridge and be like, hey, I'm here to help you? Like, I mean, I think it was a good notion, but it was a bit of a simplistic one.
What makes this the city of progress is that we keep trying until we get it right. So thank you for your advice, Mrs. Medoya.
Please, keep her on the outside. We do not need her.
Sheriff betrayed us.
We need better information.
We need to act.
You need to listen to people that have been to the underside.
Marcus was operating.
Even though we failed her in countless ways, she risked everything to show me what life is really like down there.
Caitlin has
People
learned
are
so
starving,
much.
Sick, fear of the coordinated efforts of violent crime lords. One man leads these efforts, Silco.
Yielded no such level of organization.
And who led these investigations?
What about these? Do you know who made them?
Fuck.
Well,
Oh.
Her name is Jinx.
Oh.
This Jinx has
I love that she's tried to protect Vi's sister, even knowing she went down there with the express purpose of I want to hunt down the person that's doing this. But she wanted to protect her for Vi, and Vi knows that Jinx has killed so many people, and
gemstone.
good people down there.
Bad ones, too.
Even
Yes, same as up here.
They have Shimmer.
What happened to you?
We've been
Mm-hmm.
talking about talking for weeks now.
You
There's
literally
just
let her mother have one
bridge.
conversation. Oh,
When do
he
we say
was.
enough is enough?
She was vulnerable.
I
Mm-hmm.
do. It must be our last resort.
It must.
There may be a diplomatic
How have I flipped to being like, go Mel? I was so worried that she was going to be the opposite. More interested in profit than people's lives.
You want to negotiate with him?
It may be the only way to avoid further bloodshed.
This still isn't the way.
Did you learn nothing?
Levi.
Can't. We'll never back down.
He won't. Which isn't a call for...
Please escort them out.
It's not a call for war either.
Fancy damn door is.
You claim the Undercity are also your citizens and you do nothing to help them.
I can fix this.
You can't.
She
This
can
is how things
try.
are, how they've always been. I was so stupid to think it could change.
There must be something else we can do. Some other way.
It is crazy though to think that since she's come up here, you know, when she saw the lavishness of Caitlyn's home, I mean, admittedly Caitlyn is a councillor's daughter, but she couldn't imagine someone that she was close to living in that kind of, even just seeing the way the streets look, the fancy council building, the level of opulence that the rich have, that the well-off have, while people in the Undercity are suffering. And they won't even, at not one point there did they consider what can we do to benefit the innocent people in the Undercity. Not one point of that council meeting were they concerned with, oh, so we've been neglecting people who need us. Not even once. Their only interest is in the topside. At the same point, you know, I just... It is devastating because it mirrors our real world society in so clear ways.
We'll make a new plan. What about us?
Oh,
Oil and water. Wasn't meant to be.
You're just saying that.
Do yourself a favor, couple.
she's saying that because she's
Go back to
hurt.
that big. Forget me.
She can't do that. This doesn't bode well, I don't think. And it's good for him, but what are the lasting effects going to be? Or is something that's good for him going to become bad for everyone else? Where is Jinx? How is she? I want to call her Powder. I want to... This isn't good. Is he going to turn his entire body into Hextech? Oh, you're not gonna... You're gonna lose who you are. And that was the girl he hoped to... He used to smile at down there, right? Is she gonna see?
Everything you do inspires me.
I know it does. He's losing himself, though. Holy shit. I was afraid she might die as a result of it. I didn't think she would cease to be. Jesus. Yeah. The one girl you've always cared for, that always cared for you. If there was ever a sign to stop what you are doing, it is that. I don't like who you've become.
One she trusted to do something.
Yep. I don't know what the right answer is here, because we need to stop Silco.
Silco controls the Undercity. We'll turn on him.
This is not a conversation I thought we'd be
Take out
having.
manufacturing facilities. We got a deal, pretty boy?
Does she think Powder's dead? And so this, or does she think she's completely lost her to Jinx? I mean, we need to stop the production of Shimmer. I so agree with that. Oh dear. Oh my god. The Jace vibe pair up was not what I was expecting. I do love her. No offense to Jace, I know he's a very, very strong young man, but if he's able to win these fights, that does show you just how powerful Hextech is. Someone's got the bloodlust. But I also want you to know that this isn't war either. Or that is. That is war. The innocent civilians being caught in the crossfire. That is war. And the people that work here, yes, but how much of a choice do they have? First of all, what other options did they have? Second of all, were they even given a choice? These are people that need you to fight for them. Don't worry, she's still working with someone from Topside. You'll see her again. Oh god. This is where she went because she views her as a threat. She thinks she's replaced her with Vi. Fuck. Oh my god. Oh my god, this episode was fantastic, as always. Straight back in there. I mean, it breaks my heart to think of Powder and that sweet little girl that she once was. Every single one of us has a capability, if life treats us a certain way, if we go through certain experiences, to become the sort of person she has become. But it's just so awful to have seen who she was, all the potential that was there, and for Vi to think if I just hadn't walked away, I mean, if she hadn't walked away, she probably both would have been shot by Silco. But there are so many futures and so many differences. And you know, in this moment, Silco, in wanting to save her life, has potentially made her more unhinged than ever, has potentially unlocked in her brain an even scarier, darker part, because she went through all those memories and those traumas, and she was already having trouble differentiating between what was real and what wasn't, and now she views Caitlin as being the person that's taken Vi away, and that I'm very stressed. Very, very stressed. And like, if the Undercity overthrows Silco, would that be good or bad? I mean, obviously, I don't think having criminal mob boss type people in charge of anywhere is good for anybody, because they exploit people, use people, they leverage protection and everything. Having somebody like Vander, that was his name, wasn't it, in charge, who genuinely cares about the people, that is the best solution. And the people in Piltover need to realise that they have neglected the people in the Undercity because they think they're better than them, because they don't think they matter. But they do matter. They are lives just the same, just because they happen to be born down there. Now that doesn't mean you can go in there and completely run roughshod over their way of life, but it does mean that you should make sure that they have the same rights, the same choices, the same access to safety and stability as everybody else. It's very easy from your ivory tower to say, oh, those bad poor people who commit crimes, that's fine. Whereas, are they committing those crimes because they want to, or because that is the only way of life available to them? I am proud of Vi and of Caitlin for standing up to the council, for going to the council and trying to get their point across. It may have been mostly in vain, but at least they did it. I'm glad that her mother gave her that choice too. I'm also very proud of Mel for thus far standing up to her mother. She's always been the one I've been worried about. I've been worried that her desire to prove herself in the eyes of her family and her desire to make profit and be the best would mean that she would forfeit all morals. Whereas as it turned out in this episode, in a lot of ways, she was the one I respected the most because she had the most morals. Now again, that her morals have allowed her to overlook the Undercity, so I'm not in the grand scheme of things. She still has a lot of things where I'm like, you need to do better. But I was proud of her this episode. I know how hard it can be to face a parent like that. Jace, again, he is someone that I'm a bit disappointed with now. Taking out Shimmer and stopping Silco in that way, I do support. But if it does, you know, it's already cost how much innocent life is an acceptable loss. The few that died in this battle, the next one, then if you counter that with, well, how many people are dying from Shimmer, how many people are dying from Silco's rule anyway, it is a mess. I do not know what the right answer is. I feel like you would need to spend a lot of time strategizing to figure out what the right answer is. And I think his decision came from fear, from anger, rather than from wanting to do the right thing all the way. You know, he wanted revenge on Silco for the lives he'd taken. He wanted to protect the city and his name and everything there. Hopefully, having been to the Undercity, having seen the innocent life he took as part of the battle, and see all of these desperate people who were being forced to work through no other options, or literally forced for Silco, will hopefully open his eyes a little bit to just what the situation really is and how much help people really do need down here. I loved Vi. I love Vi for not giving up. Obviously, it breaks my heart that she doesn't know what happened to her sister, that she potentially thinks her sister's dead. I feel like she's kind of not letting herself dwell too much on that question, because I think if she stops for longer than a minute to think about Powder and what's become of her and whether she's alive or dead, and whether she's alive but a monster who's irredeemable, or whether can she be saved, and all of those mixed things going on in her head, I think she would break and not be able to do anything for a vote. She would that would just consume her. Whereas she needs to keep fighting for the good of the Undercity, the way Vander would have wanted, the way for the world Powder should have grown up in. That's what she needs to keep fighting for. It did make me sad when she was like, oh, you and me, we're oil and water too, because they're not. I think the fact that Caitlin has shown she's willing to learn, she's willing to realise I was wrong about the Undercity, I was wrong. And the moment that really sold me on, I mean, okay, I've been sold on them as an idea for a while, but the moment that just really sold me on just how much Caitlin has grown throughout her journey, and again, she was quite a switched on person, so she wasn't like she needed to grow, but how much she truly does care about Vi was when in front of the council she could have been like, yes, I know who did those bombings, I figured it out, but instead she was like, oh, no, we don't know who did those, and it was Vi who took her hand and said, oh, her name is Jinx. That moment, because she has been trying to convince Vi a lot of times that she may have been your sister, but she's gone now. The fact that she's now so willing to protect Vi's sister for Vi, it really was everything. And that makes it even more devastating that Jinx is convinced that Caitlin is the source of all wrong, that Caitlin has replaced her with Vi, that Caitlin was the one that was torturing her, and it just breaks my heart and fills me with terror for the final episode. I think ultimately Vi will find out that Caitlin and Jinx are together. Maybe Jinx will either tell her because she wants to, I don't know, make her sister choose between them, or show her sister what happens if you don't choose me or something. I don't know. I can't get into her brain. I don't think even she fully knows how her brain is going to operate right now. I think they are very well suited to each other. They may come from worlds apart. It may not be the most straightforward, easy of relationships. But I do think at the core of it all, their hearts, their willingness to learn and forgive and keep fighting is strong. So I'm proud of Vi for, she could have so easily just gone, cried, curled up in a ball and cried and been like, my sister is gone, whether she's alive or dead, my sister is gone. I failed her, even though I don't think she did necessarily. It's not as straightforward as that, at least. The Undercity is just going to fall to Silco, or going to be wiped out. I failed. I went out on a limb. I came here to petition them instead of going to save my sister, and now look where we are. And yet, it just breaks my heart in so many ways. But the fact that she continued to fight, she sought out the one person Caitlin had trusted the most, the one person who wanted to fight. Again, I don't think she wants war with the Undercity, but she does want to take out Silco, and she's willing to risk it because of the extreme circumstances she's in. I'm stressed. There is so much going on in this episode. I haven't even called out Victor yet. I don't agree with what he's doing, obviously. I'd like to think that realising that it killed someone who was just trying to save him from it, will make him stop, but maybe it's too late for him to stop, or is he so lost to the idea? And again, I understand that he doesn't want to die, and so I can't fault him for trying to desperately save his life, but he has overlooked a lot of red flags. I don't entirely know what Heimerdinger thought he was going to do, just pop to the Undercity and be like, hello, I am your saviour. I mean, I do think he had good intentions, but I think he had very naive intentions, and I think in all of his time on the council, he has allowed the Undercity to fall into such disarray and neglect, and he probably the whole time thought he was respecting their wishes and doing the right thing. And it is a difficult line, it is a very fine line, but he has had a lot of time to work this out and he has failed. This was a really good episode. I am so excited for the finale. I'm also terrified for the finale. I'm so sorry it was up so late. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, and thank you so much for watching.